I couldn't stop grinning as I adjusted my tie for the third time. Nervous? Ryan asked, smirking, leaning against the wall like he owned the place. I'm too happy to be nervous, I said. This is the best day of my life, Ryan. He chuckled. Best, man, remember? I'm supposed to keep you calm. You're shaking your foot like a leaf. I'm just excited, I said, forcing my hand to stop trembling. Clara, she's everything. I mean it. She's perfect. Ryan's eyes flicked toward the window. She'll be here any minute. You ready to see her walk down the aisle? I swallowed. I think so. I hope I don't cry in front of everyone. I'll ruin the suit. You'll cry, Ryan said with a grin. Don't worry. Happens to all guys who actually love the bride. I laughed, but my chest tightened. My mind drifted to Clara, her laugh, the way she scrunched her nose when she was embarrassed, her stubborn streak that I secretly adored. I couldn't believe I was about to marry her. My best friend Ryan was standing right there, sharing this moment with me, and I trusted him more than anyone. I didn't realize that trust would be the most dangerous thing I had. The first notes of the wedding march drifted through the hall. I straightened, heart thumping. Here she comes, Ryan whispered, nudging me forward. And there she was, Clara, my Clara, in a white dress that shimmered in the sunlight. She looked like she had stepped out of a dream. But something was off. I noticed it the second I saw her face. Her eyes were glistening, not with joy, I realized, but something else. Fear? Sadness? I couldn't tell. Do I look okay? She whispered as she passed me, brushing her hand lightly against mine. You look perfect, I said, my voice catching. Better than perfect. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. My stomach twisted and I shook it off. Hey, it's okay. We're here. We're getting married. The officiant began speaking, words floating over us. I barely heard them. I was too focused on her, her hands trembling slightly as she held her bouquet, the way her lips quivered when she tried to speak. You may now say your vows, the officiant said. I took a deep breath, looking straight at her. Clara, from the moment I met you, I knew you were the one. I promised to love you, to protect you, to stand by you. She nodded, her eyes welling. I saw tears, and I thought they were tears of happiness. But the way she bit her lip and looked down, I felt a strange chill. And she started, voice shaking. I do. Her hands quivered, and she squeezed my hands too tightly. I blinked, confused. Was she nervous? She was supposed to be nervous, but there was a weight in her eyes I couldn't name. Ryan shifted beside me, smiling awkwardly, trying to meet my eyes. Everything okay? He whispered. I nodded. Yeah, everything's fine. But inside I felt not. Something was off, though I couldn't put my finger on it. The vows ended, everyone clapped, and I kissed her. Her lips were warm, soft, but I noticed the way she flinched just slightly, as if hiding something. I held her hand as we walked down the aisle. Everyone cheered. I felt elated, but there was that tiny, nagging unease, like a shadow crossing my sunlight. I didn't understand it yet. I thought I knew everything about her, about Ryan. I was wrong. And somehow, deep down, I felt the first tremor of the storm that would tear my world apart. Can you believe it? They finally tied the knot. Someone whispered behind me as I sipped my champagne. I smiled automatically, but my mind drifted. I know, right? I said to the guest, nodding. My eyes scanned the crowd for Clara. She was there, smiling politely, but she wasn't looking at me. Not really. Her gaze kept flicking to Ryan, who was hovering awkwardly nearby. I nudged Ryan with my elbow. You okay? He looked startled, then laughed. Yeah. Just busy, you know. Talking to everyone, making sure things run smoothly. I raised an eyebrow. Busy? Or worried? Worried? He shook his head. No, man. Just making sure your big day doesn't turn into a disaster. I tried to swallow the uneasy feeling twisting in my stomach. Yeah, I guess. Later, I caught Clara by the dessert table. Hey, I said, touching her hand lightly. She jumped. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. You okay? I asked. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You seem distracted. I'm fine, she said quickly, brushing crumbs from her dress. Just a lot to think about. I frowned. A lot to think about? About what? She laughed nervously. Nothing. Really. Just everything. Her words didn't sit right. I glanced toward Ryan. He was laughing at something a guest said, but his eyes kept darting toward Clara. My chest tightened. Later, I was leaning against the wall, pretending to check my phone when I overheard two guests whispering. "Did you hear about Clara and Ryan?" one said. I froze. "What?" "I heard. I don't know. They have a secret or something," the other replied. I felt my throat tighten. I turned toward them, but they were already walking away. I swallowed hard, tried to convince myself it was nothing. Paranoid, I muttered. "I'm just paranoid." Ryan appeared beside me. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said too quickly. "Just overheard something weird." He tilted his head. "Weird how?" "Nothing," I muttered, running a hand through my hair. "Forget it." He nodded slowly. "Okay, man. But if you ever want to talk, you know I'm here." I forced a smile. "Thanks." But even as I said it, my mind raced. My trust had never wavered before. Clara and Ryan, they were my world. And now, this whisper, this tiny seed of doubt, was gnawing at me. At one point, Clara came over and sat beside me. "You've been quiet," she said softly. "Just thinking," I replied. "About the day, about us." She smiled faintly. "I've been thinking too." I noticed her fingers fiddling with a ring. "You seem tense." "I'm fine," she said again. But her eyes flitted away, and her lips pressed together tightly. I felt a pang of something I didn't want to name. Anxiety? Fear? Betrayal? The thought made me angry at myself. Why was I doubting them already? But the whisper, the way she avoided me, the tension in Ryan, it all added up. Ryan approached again. "Want me to grab a drink?" he asked. I nodded. Yeah, thanks." He left, and I watched Clara from across the table. She laughed at something someone said, but her smile seemed fragile, rehearsed. I shook my head, tried to push the feeling away. Still, a cold knot had formed in my chest. Something was off. I couldn't see it clearly yet, but I could feel it, and I hated that I was starting to notice. As the reception continued, I kept glancing between Clara and Ryan, pretending to enjoy myself. But my mind wouldn't let me. The whispers had found their way inside me, planting doubt I couldn't ignore. And deep down, I knew that the perfect day I imagined wasn't perfect at all. I thought I was imagining things. I really did. I held Clara's phone in my hand by accident. She had left it on the table while refilling her drink, and I saw a message preview pop up. My chest froze. "I can't wait to see you tonight. Baby, just you and me." I blinked. My hand tightened around the phone. That wasn't Could It Be? I scrolled. More messages. Dates, confessions, words I never wanted to read. 3 months already. You're mine, just mine. My stomach twisted. I felt sick. No, this can't be real," I whispered to myself. Ryan appeared beside me. "Everything okay?" he asked casually, but I couldn't look at him. My mind raced. I muttered, putting the phone down. My hands were shaking. Just lost track of time. Ryan raised an eyebrow, but didn't push. Typical Ryan. Always careful, always calculating. I retreated to the balcony, needing air. I paced. My mind replayed the last few months. The way Clara laughed at Ryan's jokes. How she leaned on him sometimes during conversations. The little touches I'd ignore because I trusted them. Trusted him completely. What the hell am I going to do? I muttered aloud. Clara appeared behind me. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked softly. I spun around. No, I'm not okay," I shouted, my voice cracking. "Clara, what the hell is this?" She flinched. What do you mean?" "I mean your phone," I said, my fingers trembling as I pointed toward the table. I saw the messages. You're, I couldn't finish. "Pregnant, by Ryan." Her face went pale. I didn't mean. Didn't mean? You didn't mean to betray me?" I shouted, my heart pounding. 3 months? "You've been lying to me for 3 months." I wasn't going to hurt you," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "Not going to hurt me?" I laughed bitterly. "Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you?" Ryan's voice cut through the balcony door. "Hey, let's not do this here." I turned to him, my chest heaving. "Don't you dare!" I screamed. "Stay out of this, Ryan. You snake." Look, man, it's not what you think. Not what I think. That you've been sleeping with my fiancée? That she's carrying your child? Not what I think." I shouted, the words raw and jagged. Clara sobbed softly. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to lose you. You didn't want to lose me? I repeated, incredulous. You've been lying to me every day. Every single day, Clara. I thought I loved you. I do love you, but Ryan and it just happened. My hand shook. I sank into the railing, trying to breathe. Happened? Happened? You're telling me this was an accident? After all this time? Ryan stepped closer cautiously. I'm sorry, man. I never meant for this to. I snapped, turning fully toward him. Sorry doesn't cut it, Ryan. Not anymore. Clara tried to speak, but I silenced her with a look. No, don't. Just don't. I leaned against the railing, head in my hands. Everything spun. Every laugh, every shared moment, every promise I thought we made, it was all a lie. I felt my trust crumble like fragile glass in my hands. I should leave, Clara whispered. You should, I said, voice hollow. Both of you should. The wind hit my face, but it didn't clear anything. Rage, heartbreak, disbelief, they tangled together and twisted my insides. I felt trapped, unable to confront them fully yet, unable to do anything but stare at the city lights, pretending I could breathe. I trusted you. I muttered to myself, more than to either of them. I trusted you both, and I was wrong. Clara whimpered, and Ryan shifted uneasily. But I didn't care. I needed space, clarity, something I didn't have. I stepped back inside, my mind a storm. Every familiar feeling was tainted now. I could see them, feel them, but it was like seeing strangers. And deep down, I knew nothing would ever be the same. This wasn't just betrayal. This was the end of the life I thought I had. I found Ryan leaning against the wall in the empty hallway outside the reception hall. The chatter inside faded behind us. Hey, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Can we talk? Ryan smirked. Sure, man. What's up? I forced a casual smile. Just wanted to check in. Everything okay with the wedding? He shrugged, pretending to look unconcerned. Yeah, everything's fine. You sure you're okay? You've been quiet. I leaned closer, lowering my voice. You've been acting weird too, Ryan. Nervous, maybe? He laughed lightly. Nervous? Me? Come on. I'm fine. Just enjoying the day. Really? I asked, narrowing my eyes. Because you seemed distracted. He shrugged again, but I noticed the tiny twitch in his jaw. Distracted? Nope. Just keeping an eye on things, making sure Clara's happy. I felt a pang of something bitter. Clara, happy, huh? Ryan's smirk widened, but there was a flicker of something behind his eyes. Of course. She deserves to be happy. By the way, I found some messages on her phone, I said, keeping my tone calm, almost casual. Very intimate messages. Ryan froze, but only for a second. Messages? What do you mean? You know what I mean? I said, voice low but steady. You two have been talking a lot. He laughed, like he was brushing me off. Talking? Yeah, we talk. She's my friend, man. You're overthinking it. Overthinking? I repeated. Ryan, I know you. I trust you. And I saw everything. Don't lie to me. He leaned back, crossing his arms, pretending arrogance. Look, man, you don't have to jump to conclusions. I've done nothing wrong. Clara, she and I. Nothing happened. You're imagining things. I stared at him, my chest tight. Nothing happened? Then why the messages? 3 months pregnant? That's nothing. He chuckled, too smooth. Pregnant? Come on, man, you're losing it. Calm down. Really? I clenched my fists. Don't you dare try to twist this. I saw it. I read it. You both betrayed me. Ryan's smirk faltered for just a heartbeat, but he recovered quickly. Betrayed? Wow, that's heavy. You sure you're not overreacting? I mean, she made her choices. Not mine. I felt the heat rise in my face. Not yours? You've been lying to me every day, pretending to be my friend. Every smile, every joke, it was all fake. He shrugged like it didn't matter. Maybe. Or maybe you're seeing what you want to see. Look, I like Clara, okay, but I never told her what to do. She's grown up, man. She chose. I shook my head, disbelief burning me. You think this makes it okay? You think your arrogance and lies erase what you did? Ryan's eyes hardened. I'm not apologizing for something I didn't do. And you're not my judge. I felt something snap inside me. Judge? No, I'm the one you betrayed. I trusted both of you. and you turned it into a joke. Ryan laughed a little too loud. Relax, man. You're ruining your own wedding night with this drama. She's smiling. She's happy. Focus on that. I swallowed hard, trying to calm the rage that threatened to explode. Happy. She's smiling because she's hiding everything. And you're hiding your selfishness behind a mask of friendship. He tilted his head as if studying me. Maybe I am. Maybe you're right. But what are you going to do about it? I stared at him, heart racing. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to scream. I wanted to pull Clara aside and expose them both in front of everyone. But I didn't. Not yet. I needed control. I needed patience. You'll see. I whispered, letting the words hang in the air. Eventually, you'll see. He laughed softly. Okay, man. I'll take that as a threat. I turned and walked away, leaving him leaning there, pretending to be casual again. My chest ached and my mind spun. Clara was still inside, smiling at everyone, laughing, hiding the guilt in plain sight. The mask was perfect, but I could see the cracks. And I knew I had to decide. Do I confront her publicly, let my anger explode, or play the long game? Revenge or justice? Exposure or silence? Every step I took away from Ryan, the decision weighed heavier. My trust was shattered, but my mind sharpened. The mask may cover him, but I was seeing clearly now. And I wouldn't forget. I didn't speak to Clara for most of the next day. Every time she smiled at me, I forced a polite nod, keeping my distance. She tried to reach for my hand, and I pulled back subtly. Hey, you okay? She asked, tilting her head. I'm fine. I said, my voice flat. Just tired. Her eyes flicked down, lips pressed together. You've been quiet all morning. I said, I'm fine. I replied, turning away. I didn't need her pity. I didn't need her excuses. Not yet. Later, Mar pulled me aside. Man, you've been acting weird since the wedding. You sure everything's all right? I forced a chuckle. Yeah. Just, a lot going on. Wedding hangover. Mark frowned. You've always been honest with me. Something's off. I can tell. I'm fine, Mark, I said firmly, trying to shake him off. Really? But inside, my mind was racing. I kept replaying what I discovered. The texts, the hidden messages, Ryan's lies, Clara's trembling hands. I remembered the little things I'd ignored. Her leaning on Ryan during dinner, laughing too easily at his jokes, their late-night messages I'd assumed were harmless. Every memory is a knife, I thought. Every laugh they shared was at my expense. I needed answers. I started checking their social media interactions, old messages I'd saved, anything that could confirm my suspicions. Photos, timestamps, innocuous comments. They all painted a picture I didn't want to see. Clara came into the room while I was scrolling. What are you doing? She asked, voice soft. Just checking emails, I muttered, minimizing the screen. Nothing important. She nodded, but I caught the way her lips twitched. Guilty, I thought. Always guilty. Later, Mark sat with me again. Seriously, talk to someone. You're shutting everyone out. I'm not shutting anyone out, I said. I need space. Mark didn't argue. He just nodded, concern etched on his face. Okay, man. Just don't lose yourself in this. I forced a smile, but the isolation was creeping in. Every word Clara said, every glance from Ryan, felt like a threat. I replayed the moments I trusted them both completely. I remembered leaning on Ryan after losing my job, sharing dreams with him, thinking he was my brother. And Clara, my heart had opened to her fully. Every betrayal cut deeper because it had been so absolute. I can't let this slide, I muttered to myself, pacing. Not yet. Not while they think they've won. I started planning. Not recklessly, but strategically. How to expose them without destroying myself. How to reclaim control over my life. Revenge? Exposure? Or something subtler? Clara tried to sit next to me that evening. Can we talk? I shook my head. Not now. Her shoulders sagged. I don't know what to say to make it right. There's nothing you can say, I said, voice low. Not right now. Ryan texted me later, innocuous small talk. I ignored it. He had no idea I was watching, collecting pieces of evidence, cataloging every lie. I felt the cold calculation settle in, mingling with my heartbreak. The mask of control was forming. I let them think I was broken. I let them believe I was still the trusting fool. They'll see soon enough, I thought, staring out the window at the night city lights. Every lie has a cost. Every betrayal has a price. And I will make sure they pay it. Mark knocked lightly before leaving. Call me if you need anything. Really? I will, I said, but even I knew I wouldn't. Not yet. Not until I decided the shape of my justice. I sat alone in the dark, my phone buzzing occasionally, and felt the isolation settle completely. My friends, my life, even my love, all of it was fractured. And yet, amidst the pain, a strange clarity emerged. I could hurt, I could grieve, but I could also plot. And I would. I met Ryan in the parking lot under the dim glow of the streetlight. Hey, I said casually, hiding the storm inside me. Hey man, long day, huh? Ryan replied, grinning as if everything was normal. Yeah, long day, I agreed, letting my voice stay calm. Clara mentioned you two had a chat earlier about the wedding plans. He tilted his head, smiling a little too confidently. Oh, yeah, just logistics. Making sure everything goes smoothly. You know me. I nodded slowly. Of course. You always take charge. I try, he said lightly. Can't let you stress too much, right? I forced a laugh. Exactly. That's why I like having a best man I can trust. Ryan's smile faltered for just a moment before he masked it. Trust, huh? Yeah, trust is important. I watched him carefully, studying every twitch in his face, every flicker of hesitation. That's when I started forming the plan. Subtle, careful, invisible to him. You know, I said slowly, sometimes I wonder how people handle secrets. Some lie so well, it's almost impressive. He laughed nervously. Secrets? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing specific, I said, voice smooth. Just thinking about how easily a person's mistakes can come back to bite them. Ryan laughed again, but his hand twitched. You're overthinking it. Really? Maybe, I said, but some things you can't ignore. Like evidence. Ryan's eyes flicked toward mine, a hint of doubt breaking through his mask. Evidence? What kind of evidence? Whatever comes to light eventually, I said, tilting my head with mock casualness. You never know who's paying attention. He smiled again, but it was forced. I could see it, and I liked that I could see it. Later, I returned home, pretending everything was normal. Clara was in the kitchen, humming softly while making coffee. She smiled when she saw me. Morning, she said lightly. Morning, I replied, keeping my tone neutral. Sleep okay? Yes, I think so. You? Fine, I said. Busy day ahead. She tilted her head, studying me. You seem calm. Of course, I said smoothly. No point in looking otherwise. People notice everything. She nodded slowly. I wanted to talk last night. I didn't get the chance. I let the words hang in the air. About what? About everything, she said softly, voice trembling just a little. I want to explain myself. I took a slow breath. You can explain all you want, Clara. Doesn't mean I'll forgive. Doesn't mean I'll believe it. Her eyes glistened, but she said nothing more. That silence told me enough. Her guilt was there, buried under that fragile smile. I spent the day planning, thinking. Every conversation with Ryan, every glance from Clara became part of a strategy. Notes, screenshots, mental reminders, I cataloged it all. The goal wasn't just to expose them. It was to reclaim my power, to make them realize the cost of their arrogance. Mark called in the afternoon. You've been quiet again, he said. I'm worried about you. I'm fine, I said, keeping the edge out of my voice. Just focusing on work. You've been focusing on something else, haven't you? Maybe, I admitted, letting a hint of the truth slip. Just making sure things are in order. Mark chuckled softly. You've changed. Calm, controlled. Not the guy I know. I smiled faintly. Sometimes, control is all you have left. By evening, I was back on the balcony, phone in hand, planning my next move. Every lie, every betrayal, every stolen smile Ryan and Clara shared, I cataloged them carefully. I wasn't angry in a way that made me reckless anymore. I was patient, and patience was sharper than any rage. Clara came out, sitting beside me. I wish you'd let me explain, she said, voice soft and full of regret. I heard you, I said quietly, and I saw everything. But explaining doesn't erase what happened, doesn't fix it. I know, she whispered. I hoped you'd understand. I stared at her, heart aching, but my mind clear. Understanding isn't the same as forgiving. Not yet. She nodded, biting her lip. I'll wait. I'll do whatever it takes. I didn't respond. The silence stretched, heavy but controlled. I had a plan now. A quiet, patient strategy. I would let them think I was broken, that I was vulnerable. And when the time was right, everything they thought was safe would crumble. Patience, I thought, watching the city lights. Patience and precision. That's how this ends. I noticed it first in the messages. Ryan was careless, flirty texts meant to be private, sent to the wrong person. I caught one by accident, a screenshot someone forwarded. My chest tightened, but I stayed calm. Hey, did you see this? I asked Mark later, pretending casual curiosity. He frowned at the screen. What the hell? That's wow. That's not good. Yeah, I said softly. Seems like he's not as careful as he thinks. Mark shook his head. I wouldn't mess with him if I were you. He's dangerous when cornered. Dangerous? I repeated. Maybe. But right now, he's sloppy. That's all that matters. I watched Ryan from a distance at the cafe. He laughed too loudly, leaned too close to a woman I didn't recognize. Every movement, every careless glance I cataloged. He didn't notice me, and I liked that. Later, I saw his fiancée, someone I hadn't met, call him urgently. Ryan, where are you? You promised. Relax, he said, smirking, typing on his phone as she shouted at him. I'm busy. I'll be there. She groaned in frustration. Busy with what? Your friends? Or something else? Mind your business, he said sharply, but the screen reflected something. Another careless message, full of lies. I clenched my fists, breathing slowly. Karma was happening in real time, and I didn't need to lift a finger. Later that night, Clara tried to talk to me. I heard about what's going on with Ryan, she said softly. I stared at her, expression neutral. And I feel awful about all of it. About everything, she said, eyes glistening. I know, I said quietly. You're guilty, but you can't fix him. Only he can. Her lips trembled. I want to help. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I shook my head slowly. Helping him now won't matter. Let him make the mistakes. Let him face the consequences. That's the only justice left. She bit her lip and nodded, looking down. I'll stay out of it. I watched Ryan again the next day. He texted someone frantically, trying to cover a slip-up. I could see the panic behind his mask of confidence. That arrogance, that smugness. He thought he was untouchable. You're smiling too much, Mark said when I showed him the screenshots. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I shook my head. No, I'm learning. I'm watching. That's different. Sure, Mark said, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. I left my phone alone for a while, letting everything simmer. Watching Ryan's mistakes pile up was exhausting, but I felt powerful. Not because I could hurt him, but because I controlled my response. I didn't need to lash out. I didn't need to scream. I just observed. The next day, his fiancée cornered him at the office. Ryan, do you realize what you've done? How many lies? How many people? I can fix it, he said, panic creeping into his voice. No, you can't. You've already lost their trust. And mine, she said, tears streaming. I watched from a distance, heart pounding. That panic, that exposure, it was beautiful in its inevitability. I thought about revenge, about what I wanted. I realized it wasn't just anger I craved. It was control. It was the ability to choose my response, to reclaim what they had stolen. My trust, my sense of safety, my life. Clara came to me later. You don't have to hate him forever, she said quietly. You can't forgive. I shook my head slowly. Forgive? Not yet. Not while he's still careless. While he's still breaking himself. She nodded, silence stretching between us. Her guilt was visible now, clear in every gesture. I stared at the city lights through the window, thinking about the power of patience. Watching Ryan unravel without interfering, it was more satisfying than any argument, any confrontation. I realized then that revenge wasn't about shouting, it wasn't about pain or chaos. It was about taking back control, watching the consequences fall naturally. And I had control now. I asked Clara to meet me in the empty lounge upstairs. She came in quietly, hands clutching the edge of her chair, veil still pinned in her hair. I noticed how her fingers trembled. Sit, I said, voice low. We need to talk. She nodded, swallowing hard. I know. I stared at her, the anger and heartbreak threatening to spill out. Clara, do you know what you did to me? Do you even realize? Her lips quivered. I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't want any of this. Any of this. I shouted, leaning forward. You were carrying his child while we stood at the altar. Do you have any idea what that feels like? Every vow, every promise, I trusted you. She looked down, her veil brushing against her cheek. I know, and I'm sorry. I really am. Sorry doesn't fix anything. I yelled. Do you understand that? It doesn't undo the betrayal, Clara. It doesn't bring back the time I wasted trusting you. Her eyes filled with tears, and I noticed how pale she had become. I was confused. I loved you. I really did. But Ryan, I didn't know how it happened. I swear it just happened. Just happened. I echoed, voice cracking. 3 months? 3 months of lies, of secret smiles, of texts I'll never unsee. You let it happen. You let him. Stop, she cried. Please just stop. I don't want to hear it anymore. I sank back, heart pounding. Her desperation, her trembling hands, they were all I had left to measure what was real. My love, my anger, my sorrow, they all collided in that room. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered finally, the words heavy. Was it because you wanted me to find out like I did? Through a message. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I was scared. Scared of losing you, scared of what it would do to us. I didn't think I could face you. I closed my eyes, remembering her smile on the wedding day, the way she looked at me, the warmth in her laugh. Every memory now felt poisoned. I loved you, I said, voice breaking. And I can't just forget this. She sobbed softly. I know. I don't expect you to forgive me. I wish I could take it back. I shook my head. You can't. And Ryan, he can't escape the consequences either. Her eyes widened. He'll face consequences? Not by me directly, I said, voice tight. He's careless. People see through him. His arrogance, his lies, they're unraveling. Karma works in ways we don't control. Her hands trembled, and she pulled at her veil. I remembered holding her hand, the feel of her skin, the laughter we shared. My chest tightened, but I swallowed the pain. I need you to understand something, I said. I'm not the same man who stood at the altar today. I've changed, and I can't let no one, betray me like that again. I understand, she whispered. I hate what I did. I hate myself for it. I leaned back, letting a long silence fill the room. Every word she spoke, every tear she shed, echoed inside me. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make her feel my pain. But I didn't. I stayed controlled. Do you know what hurts most? I asked softly, almost to myself. It's that I still care. I still love you in some twisted, stupid way. But love isn't enough. Now when trust is gone. She sobbed harder, nodding. I know, and I deserve every bit of it. I looked at her veil, a symbol of the life we were supposed to build. Now it felt heavy, a reminder of broken promises. I wanted to tear it off, burn it, but I didn't. I let it stay, letting the memory of what we could have had haunt both of us. Clara, I can't forgive you tonight, I said finally. Maybe never, but I want you to leave me alone. Let me breathe. Let me think. Let him see what happens when he underestimates people. She nodded, tears streaking her face, and rose slowly. I'll go. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond. I just watched her leave, the veil trailing behind her like a memory I couldn't erase. As the door closed, I sank back in my chair. Anger, sorrow, and heartbreak collided, but beneath it all was clarity. I wasn't helpless. I had control. And now, it was time for the consequences to reach Ryan. I met Mark at our usual coffee spot, the one place that still felt normal. He gave me a nod as I sat down. You look lighter, he said, stirring his drink. Maybe, I said, keeping my tone casual. Or maybe I've just stopped pretending so much. He raised an eyebrow. Stop pretending? That sounds ominous. I've been holding too much, I admitted. Trying to manage anger, heartbreak, betrayal, it's exhausting. Mark nodded. I get it. You've been through hell, but you're still here. I smiled faintly. Yeah, still here. That count for something. Later, Ethan joined us, a friend of Mark's who I'd only met a few times. He had this calm energy, the kind that makes you listen. Word of advice, Ethan said, leaning back in his chair. You can let anger control you, or you can let it teach you. Your choice. I frowned. Teach me? How? By showing you where your boundaries are, he said. By showing who deserves your trust and who doesn't. By reminding you what self-respect is. I felt a flicker of clarity. So, I don't have to forgive to move forward. No, Ethan said. You just need to know you're in charge of your life. Don't let their betrayal define you. Let it inform you. Mark nodded. Exactly. You survived them. That's the hard part done. I thought about Clara, about Ryan, about the pain, the heartbreak, the sleepless nights. It's not easy, I said. Even now, I feel the anger of the loss. That's normal, Ethan said. You can't erase it, but you can redirect it. Focus on yourself. Build your life, not a case against them. I ran a hand through my hair. I want to. I really do. But I'm scared I'll let someone else in, and it will happen again. Boundaries, Mark said firmly. You learn them the hard way. Don't ignore what your gut tells you. Protect yourself. Ethan smiled. Scars aren't weaknesses. They're reminders. You survived betrayal. You survived heartbreak. That makes you stronger. I let the words sink in, feeling a weight lift slowly. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. I didn't need closure from them. I didn't need apologies. I just needed to live my life on my terms. Later that evening, I sat on my balcony, phone in hand, thinking about everything. Messages unopened, memories stored, and yet, I didn't feel the need to check, to obsess. The anger that had consumed me was tempered now by understanding. I sent Mark a text. Thanks for today. I needed that. Almost instantly, he replied, anytime. You're doing the hard work yourself. Proud of you. I smiled, staring out at the city lights. This was my new beginning. The betrayal had torn me apart. Yes, but it also forced me to see clearly. Who I trusted, how I value myself, what I would accept, and what I would not. A knock at the door broke my thoughts. It was Ethan. Thought you might want to talk more, he said. Sure, I said, gesturing for him to sit. I just wanted to remind you, he said, voice calm, that growth doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning, taking what hurts you and turning it into armor. I nodded slowly. Armor. I like that. I think I'm ready to start building it. He smiled. Good. And remember, you're not alone. People who care about you, like Mark and me, will help. But the choices are always yours. I felt a small surge of hope. It wasn't naive. It wasn't sudden. It was deliberate. I could heal, slowly but surely. I could trust again, carefully. I could reclaim the life they try to shatter. Thank you, I said quietly. For everything. You're welcome, Ethan said. Now go. Live your life. Don't wait for permission. I watched him leave and turned back to the balcony. The city lights reflected in my eyes, a reminder that the world kept moving. I could too. I had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and lies. Now it was time to survive myself, and in doing so become stronger than I ever imagined. I clenched my fists, not in anger, but in resolve. This was my life, my rules, my future, and nothing, not even betrayal, could take that away. I saw Ryan at the office party, the one event where his arrogance usually shone. Tonight, he was different. Forced smiles, awkward glances, a nervous energy he couldn't hide. Ryan, I said, approaching casually. Big night, huh? He looked up, startled. Yeah, big night. You seem tense, I said lightly, keeping my tone calm. Everything okay? He laughed too loudly. Fine, man. Just business stuff. You know how it is. I raised an eyebrow. Business stuff. Sure. Funny, I heard about a few mistakes. Emails sent to the wrong clients. Confidential info leaked. That's not like you. Ryan's face paled. It was an accident. Totally unintentional. I swear. I nodded slowly, keeping my voice soft but firm. Accidents happen when you stop paying attention, Ryan. When arrogance outweighs care. People notice. He swallowed hard. I'll fix it. I promise. Promises only matter when backed by action, I said. Some things can't be fixed. Some things just unravel. I turned to leave, letting the weight of the words hang in the air. I didn't need to push him further. Karma had already begun its work. Later, Clara appeared at my door, her expression guarded. "Hey," she said quietly. "Clara," I said, motioning for her to sit. "Come in." She hesitated, then sank into the chair. I've been thinking, and I asked, tone neutral. "I know I can't undo anything. I just want you to know I regret it. Every lie, every hurtful moment." Her voice faltered. "I hear you," I said, watching her carefully. "Regret doesn't erase betrayal, but I understand it exists. That's enough for now. You need to live with it." She nodded, eyes glossy. "I will. I've learned hard lessons." "I hope you have," I said softly. "We both have. And I hope you can carry that without destroying yourself further." The room was quiet for a moment. I thought about all I'd felt, anger, heartbreak, disbelief, and realized it had changed me. I wasn't the man who found out about her pregnancy in shock. I wasn't the one who wanted to lash out or crumble. I was calmer now, stronger, focused. "Mark's been helping me," I said after a pause. "And Ethan too. They reminded me what it means to survive, not just react." She smiled faintly. "I can see it. You're different. Stronger. Controlled." I nodded. I learned that forgiveness isn't always about others. Sometimes it's about reclaiming your life, not letting betrayal define you. Clara looked down, twisting her hands. I hope you find someone who deserves you. Truly. Maybe," I said, voice gentle. "But right now, I need to focus on myself. My life. My rules. My trust will be earned, not given freely again." She nodded, standing slowly. "Understand. I'll leave you to it." "Thank you," I said quietly, "for respecting that." As she left, I felt a weight lift, not because I had forced justice or revenge, but because I had reclaimed control. Ryan's arrogance had led him here. His mistakes, his carelessness, were his own undoing. Clara's guilt remained, and it was not mine to fix. I went outside, breathing in the cool evening air. The city lights reflected in my eyes, a reminder that the world moves forward, whether you're ready or not. I thought about love, trust, betrayal, the lessons they left behind. I could have been consumed by anger. I could have been destroyed by heartbreak. Instead, I learned to observe, to calculate, to choose my path. Mark called just as I was walking back inside. "Everything all right?" he asked. "Yes," I said, smiling faintly. "Better than all right. I'm moving forward. On my terms." "Good," he said. "I'm proud of you." I hung up and stared at my reflection in the window. I was the same person in form, but not in spirit. I had survived betrayal. I had watched consequences unfold naturally. I had learned patience, control, and self-respect. The world felt sharper, clearer, but softer too. I could trust again someday, cautiously. I could love again, carefully. And for the first time in months, I felt whole. Justice had been served. Not through revenge, not through confrontation, but through balance. Ryan faced the consequences of his arrogance. Clara lived with her remorse. And I moved forward, stronger, wiser, independent. The veil of betrayal had lifted, leaving clarity in its place. I smiled faintly, closing my eyes. The past could no longer control me. And that was enough.